Welcome everyone to our another episode of the Unicraft Spotlight. Today we have a wonderful lady here, Muzaffarova, who is a junior at Minnesota, majoring in journalism and studies, right?
Yeah.
So
Hey
that's a
guys.
double B.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you so much for hosting me here. I am honored to be one of the guests of Unicraft Spotlight. I know you guys are doing amazing. I know that you have great future, and I wish you the best of luck with that. And I'm ready to share all I can share with the audience.
That is amazing. Thank you for joining us. That's right. Get us started. Uzbekistan
Doesn't matter.
Club. Chat. Niyesi başlandı. Peki Uzbekistan Club'ımız. The problem with okay. What about now?
I can't hear you. You're muted.
What about now?
Yeah, it's good.
Is the voice fine?
What?
I'm asking the chat.
Oh, okay. So, a quick question. It's not being streamed on YouTube now, right? Or is it?
It is.
Okay, then let's talk about something good then.
All right. Cool. Right. So my first question is, this is a question that I have been asking to learn more about you. Is why Minnesota specifically
Okay.
from all universities? Why this specifically?
Yeah, I like many people, I got accepted to pretty good colleges, but why I chose Minnesota? First of all, because Minnesota has pretty good program for journalism. Hubbard School of Journalism that I'm in right now has been, teaching students for over 100 years. And our university is pretty old as well. You can see it from the campus photos or videos too. So Minnesota, the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus knows what they're doing. So in another fact, Shagzoram, a friend of mine, also got accepted there, and we were like, okay, let's go together so that we could help each other in certain ways. And our parents were pretty happy about it as well because, we both were 17 years old, and it was pretty dangerous to go to the US alone with that amount of money, and we kind of were buddies. So we're still pretty good friends with her. So she was one of the biggest reasons why I chose Minnesota. And obviously the quality of education the University of Minnesota offers was one of the major factors why I chose Minnesota.
Right. Amazing. And your major journalism is.
Okay. So the history of me deciding with journalism is interesting because I literally was thinking about, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And suddenly I got into TV industry. I worked at a Navoi regional TV channel for a year almost, and there we had our own TV program called My Doppe, where we talked about learning different languages, and I interviewed successful people like Adishara Kesadulayev, like Harry Thompson. And suddenly I realized that, okay, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. And I saw that a lot of people were motivated, were inspired by the things that we were doing with Robert, a friend of mine with whom I did it. And then I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, but not in TV, obviously, because there are lots of disadvantages of working at a TV channel as a woman. So I do know that I'll be helping people through media, but I'm not quite decided yet whether it's going to be on radio or TV or newspaper, which almost no one reads nowadays. So that's why I'm kind of doing my social media and like seeing how things go. And maybe I will end up with international relations or something because I love learning about different countries and languages. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, it's journalism. The main purpose is helping people in Uzbekistan and like people in general all over the world through media. So yeah.
Amazing. That sounds really interesting. And my next question for you is, how do you find living in what is considered Midwest, I think,
Yeah,
in
Midwest.
Minnesota? Could you tell about more like maybe city life, the
Yeah.
vibes?
So the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus, we have like the University of Minnesota has 4 or 5 campuses, I believe, and the main one is Twin Cities. So it is why is it called Twin Cities? Because we have Minneapolis and St. Paul, which are considered one of the, you know, like major important cities in the state of Minnesota, and St. Paul is the capital of Minnesota. So we go back and forth from St. Paul to Minneapolis, and St. Paul is a little bit of rural area where you can find farmers, you can find a lot of good nature, and you can like in one word you can relax pretty good there in St. Paul campus. So I live in St. Paul, but study in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is much of like uh, megapolis. It is a huge city. We have pretty good downtown. Uh, it reminds me of my Chicago, even though I have never been there. And the transportation is very good. The food is absolutely great because we have it's a very diverse city. We have restaurants from different cultures, and one of the things that I noticed in Midwest that I didn't notice in other states is that people are very friendly. Like, yes, in US people are like generally friendly, but like Midwest has its unique way of being friendly, I guess. At least that's what I heard from other people, and that's what I experienced too. Like, people are friendly, but like here it's extra friendly. That's what I like about people, and they're always willing to help us whenever we need help. I remember the first days of ours when we came to the US with Shakzora. A lot of people, students, staff, faculty members, they were willing to help us because we had no idea how the system worked. Let it be like, just lofting our bed in our dorm, or like getting to the main campus on like by bus, or like, things like that. So they were pretty helpful for us, and I am trying to do my best to give it back to our young Uzbeks, or like to other international students who are coming to campus now, because I know what they're going through, because I've been there where they are at. So I feel like life is all about getting it and giving it back. So yeah.
Oh, that
That
sounds
sounds
great,
great.
and
And
it's
it's
actually
actually
very
very
interesting
interesting
because
because
like
like
I've
I've
seen the
seen the
maps of
maps
your
of your
university.
university.
The campus is
Campus is
huge.
huge. Yes.
How do
How
you
do you
get
get
around
around
and
and
not
not
get
get
lost?
lost? Yeah, actually, I work as a community advisor. At some colleges, they call it advisors as well, blah blah. But point of the main purpose of my work is helping students connect to campus. So I always tell my residents we have absolutely great resources when you know how to use them properly. For example, it's late at night. You want to come from Minneapolis to St. Paul campus. You're not gonna Uber for $20, but you're gonna call the campus security. You'll be like, okay, here I am, and this is the location that I want to go to. So they're gonna come and give you a ride for free. We have three or four options like this where you feel safe, where you don't pay money. Technically, you pay money; it's included in your tuition, but still, it's great. And uh, aside from like campus resources, we have pretty good public transportation as well. I've been to many states, and I can proudly say that you can get around Minnesota even if you don't have a car. So that's what I like the most, because the University of Minnesota, is very big campus. It's a very diverse college, and that's why, like, not every single international student has an access to a car. So all of the transportation infrastructure, all of those are built very well so that everyone can get around well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually
actually
like
like
the
the
case in
case with
Dorchester as
Dorchester as
well.
well.
They
They
have
have
like
like
a
a
education
education
wise
wise
bus
bus
system,
system,
so they
so
can
they
pick
can
you
pick you
up
up
at
at
any
any
point
point
if you're
if you're
using the
using the
AC.
AC.
So I
So I
think
think
it's the
it's the
kind of
kind of
policy
policy
I
I
think
think that
every
every
university
university
have
Yeah,
to
to
make
make
their
their
students feel
students feel
safe.
safe. Exactly.
And
And
what
what
I'm
I'm
really
really
curious
curious
about
about
right
right
now
now
is
is
your
your
work
work
at
at
Uzbekistan
Uzbekistan
Club.
Club.
So
So
what are you
what are you
doing?
doing?
I
I
know
know
that
that
you're
you're
reading.
reading.
Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the way how I became a part of Uzbekistan's club is very interesting because it was I was the initiator. I was really interested in what they do because I watched like a couple of episodes that they made, and I was like, wow. I was very impressed and excited by the fact that Uzbeks, like people from Uzbekistan, are creating that type of quality content. And I wanted to be part of it. So when I was thinking of going back home, I didn't have an exact plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna risk it, and I Allah kitawakal and I went back home. And on my way home, I texted the managers, the CEO at Uzbekistan's club, um, to Nikita Makarenko on LinkedIn, and like obviously he didn't respond me like when I texted him first time or like second time. I knew that he was busy, so I wanted to convince him in the fact that I'm pretty good one. I valid person to be in their team. So that's how they were impressed by me. And then they called me for an interview, and I went there, and they're like, we would love to have you in a team, they said. So that's how I got into a team. But the process has been very great. I worked mostly remotely because my family members live in Naboy City, and Uzbekistan Club is based in Tashkent City in Philadelphia in the US. So I had to like either commute or like work remotely, which I obviously worked remotely because otherwise my mom would kill me if I stay here in Tashkent for 2 months for my whole trip to Uzbekistan. So what I do at Uzbekistan Club is basically all about working with working with people with different backgrounds. So we have this system where people apply to be our resident, which is a great community of Uzbeks all around the world. We have pretty good people who did internships at Mercedes and at like United Nations, or like people we have people who work at pretty good banks in Paris. We have like so much diverse background that I've never ever seen anywhere, especially with Uzbeks. So I'm like, uh, I was excited, obviously. So what I do is people apply to be a resident, and I see whether they are valid enough or no to be part of our community. Because what we offer is we offer a community of incredible people who are both in Uzbekistan and in foreign countries, and who are there just to work or like just to earn money, but who are doing incredible stuff out there in foreign countries. So what we focus on is building that community. In I feel like it was on 30th of June for Yoshlar Kuna, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev invited all of those like people who are contributing to development of Uzbekistan, and Uzbekistan's club was also there, luckily. So the president himself supported the project and motivated us to work further because we have never had a community of Uzbeks like this before. So if we are united in this way, we can do great things. We can exchange ideas, we can work on great things. So that's what I've been part of. And the vision for my future is kind of related to Uzbekistan's club as well. I do hope that, I mean, you never know what happens in future, but for now, I see the vision of me being part of that community for a long time, because I believe in what they do, and I believe that they're gonna help the community a lot in a way that I really love. So yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Before I
Before I
go
go
to
to
the
the
next
next
question,
question,
which
which
is
is
very
very
interesting
interesting,
to me,
Okay.
um, can you
can you
check
check
the
the
settings
settings
and
and
turn
turn
on
on
active
active
cancellation or
cancellation or
something?
something?
It
It
should be
should
in
be in
your
your
settings.
settings.
Uh,
Uh,
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
there
there
is
is
setting
setting
Yeah.
and
and
it has
it
an
has an
echo
echo
cancellation
cancellation
House echo. Okay.
in the
in the
setting.
Yeah.
setting.
If you hear echo, that means someone else needs to turn it on, not you. Look for the person without headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Is it
on for
on
you?
for you?
It doesn't say anything. Oh, it's off. Okay.
What
It
What
about?
about?
says, no, I can't turn it on or off.
All right.
All right.
All right, we'll try to address this later. So my question is,
Okay.
I want to be part of the Club to World. How do I get in?
So I would say, for first of all, for now, the best way would be applying to be a resident and see how things go. And obviously, when you are already part of the club, you have more chances of getting into the team as well. I tried to reach out to the managers before I was part of the club, like in multiple ways. I emailed them, I texted them on Instagram, on LinkedIn, in many ways, so that they know who I am. They know what I do. I'm an incredible person, basically. So I would say apply to be a resident, and like based on what I see, I think you are pretty valid to be part of our community. I will definitely accept your application. And further going on, you can text people. I can refer you to my managers, and they can think about what you can do. I think you'll be a great team member, so I can refer you to my managers.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds like Uzbekistan
Yes.
Rockets Hub. So that's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I want to move on
Okay.
is your social media and your YouTube channel, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, you are quite active there. You
Okay.
have a huge following. And what was the reason why you started being so active and opening a YouTube channel? Yes, everybody has an Instagram, but not YouTube specifically.
Yeah. So back in 2020, actually, when like everyone was locked in their rooms, I had a thought of, okay, let's do something online, because I watched Lingua Marina Magilko, who's Russian, who lives in Silicon Valley, and was very good YouTube channel with a background of um, with a good knowledge of English. Admire her a lot. I still do, and I was like, okay, that's the life I want to have to some extent. And for that, after watching her videos, I came to a realization that, okay, in order to improve my English, I have to talk more. So how can I talk more? I obviously can't talk to my friends because everyone is at home, and it was a little bit difficult. So I came to a point that you are not here. Hi, you're muted. I can hear you.
Hello, you can go ahead.
Hi. Okay, good. Sure. So, um, and that's how I basically came to the YouTube industry. I do not think that I'm doing a great job because I've been procrastinating it for like a couple of months now, but I do believe in the importance of social media. Like, if you have a great following, it means that you're there for a reason. If you don't have a good message to tell people, then why are you here? So my main purpose is to inspire people, to inspire young girls from countries like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, like Central Asia, or like I have pretty good people from India, in Middle East as well. So I want to tell them that I could do it, and you can do it too. You can, you know, have an access to great education, great resources in a country like US, or like UK and other countries as well. So all I want to do is inspire people, help people. So I feel like the platforms are just pretty good tools, because everyone is on social media nowadays. So we got to use it properly, for our benefits and for the benefits of other people too. So, but why YouTube? I don't know. I love talking, like in general. I'm a pretty good talkative person. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. But if you're like a little bit mean to me at first, I can't talk. So it depends. Me being talkative depends on my partner as well, who's talking to me. But in general, I'm a very good talkative person. So I love talking about things and different stuff that happen in my life, and things in general. So I really thought that, okay, YouTube is a great platform where I can do it, and I saw the future of it, and I still believe in that. No matter what platforms come and go, YouTube will always be there, because it is a very strong and valuable platform that teaches billions of people every day. So yeah.
Uh, and I've seen that you have a lot of children. You already talked to the goals that you want to reach 10K,
Mhm.
and what was your path like? Did you have any specific content strategy, or you just kept posting?
Okay, I'm very good at planning. Like, let it be in anything in my life. I can plan things, but like it's not gonna be constant. It's not gonna be consistently. So I make sure that I have a content plan. Okay, I'm gonna post this, this, and this. But usually, it just comes to my mind out of nowhere. Those creative things come to my mind out of nowhere. And if I be like, okay, let's sit and come up with something, nothing comes to my mind. It's just I feel like the process of being creative is just out of nowhere. For example, it can come like when I'm shopping, or like when I went out to shopping, or like when I'm, for example, taking shower, like when I'm reading book. It just comes out of nowhere, and I have to write it down at that moment so that I can process it further. So, but I usually try to have a conscious strategy. It is always best when you plan things. I try to implement this sentence into my life, but it never happens. I don't know why, but I hope I will reach that point someday someday in the future too. But I usually know I do not have a strict content plan or strategy. I just go with my creativity flow. That's why it goes up and very down sometimes. If you notice, I posted consistently for a week on my Instagram because I was bombarded with the ideas in my head. But for now, I'm like pretty, you know, uh, спокойная, like going with the flow. So yeah, it's
No,
just
yeah,
happens.
I think it's totally fine not to have a plan, because usually you cannot have a plan, you go to a surprising destination.
Yes.
So that is nice. Before I move on with my question, I want to take also the questions that's in the chat. So one of the questions is, Rahmatullah Tawad is asking, when are we going to on YouTube?
Can you repeat that again, please?
When are we going to collab?
Oh, okay. So fun fact, I feel like only Rahmatullah knows himself. When I was preparing for Ilyurt, Rahmatullah and Arzuglapa, they were the people who guided me without knowing that they are guiding me. So I watched lots of his videos because Ilyurt was a big deal at that time, and many people there was no enough information on the platform to prepare for Ilyurt, but now we have zillions of stuff to learn from. So it was my kind of dream to meet him. Not like a dream. I didn't write it like on my wall, but still, like deep inside, I really wanted to meet him in person. And I met like last year, and I feel like in our conversation that we had in last summer, I mentioned to him the fact that he is doing an incredible job, and I think that he should continue. And I would love to collab with him on YouTube when I get back to YouTube.
Amazing.
Uh,
Right. Let's see the next question.
We have a lot of questions, it turns out.
Yes. What do you think the future journalism? So this is your expertise, obviously. So
Yeah.
with all the stuff that AI writes articles, doing reels,
Uh-huh.
what do you think?
Yeah, so Minnesota is a very, it is a quality college. They know what they're doing, as I said. So when the AI came in, and we were well informed by the fact that you are future journalists, you're future information generators, technically. So AI cannot replace you. You cannot replace AI. You can use it in your benefit, but you can't give the information that you're going to give with the AI, because it's not gonna match the objectivity of journalism. So in journalism, you have to be objective. You should not have subjective opinion. You can have subjective opinion, but not when you're working for CNN, but not when you're working, for Uzbekistan Club. No. You can give your subjective opinion in your own social media platforms, but when you're working as a journalist somewhere at some point, you have to be very objective. And I feel like no other AI can give certain opinion like journalists do. Yes, that could be possible, but you can use AI and make something. But in general, as my professor said, like a couple of days ago, it won't replace us, and we can't replace it. But what we can do is using it well on our purposes, but still staying objective and creating things according to the rules of journalism of objectivity. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. And what are
what are
some of
some of
the
the
journalists
journalists
or
or
creators
creators
that
that
you
you
aspire to
aspire
be
to
like?
be like?
Okay, fun fact. At some point of my life, in some point of my life, I was like, why the hell I chose to be journalist? Like, why journalism? Honestly, I regret it. Even though like it's a tiny bit, I do regret it deep inside. So it means that I do not want to be a journalist, or like I do not inspire journalists. Maybe it's because I want to like change the career path a little bit different than journalism, because journalism is not only about being on TV and reporting news. You can do lots of crazy things with it. Nowadays I'm interested in um, making documentaries, making like films that inspire people, obviously, and help the like audience to a certain point. So that's why the part of Uzbekistan's club. What they do is there's incredible woman. Her name is Mukhlis Azizova. She's like 3 or 4 kids, and she creates such quality videos about Uzbekistan, like different cities about Uzbekistan. I think you watched one of the videos as well, but you don't know that she made it, because it happened to me as well. She portrays the certain information in a way that I've never ever seen anywhere, and that's what inspired me. Like, look, she's Uzbek married woman, and she has 4 kids now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
3, I guess, I don't know, but she's able to do all of it with the help of her husband, and that's what inspires me. They have this incredible family. They rule the whole Uzbekistan Club together, husband and a wife. So that's what inspires me, because it's not like solely about journalism but media in general, but eventually the whole point is helping people. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
the
the
good
good
thing
thing
that
that
you
you
set the
set the
priorities
priorities
right.
right.
exactly.
That
That
journalism
journalism
is
is
not
not
just to be
just to
on
be
the
on the
camera
camera
or
Exactly.
or
do a
do a
video,
video,
but
but
actually
actually
help
help
people
people
and
and
reach
reach
out.
out.
Because
Because
I
I
think
think
right
right
now
now
journalism is
journalism is
more
more
important than
important than
ever
ever
with
with
all the
all the
True.
things
things
going
going
on.
on.
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
chat.
chat.
Yeah, because look, literally everyone is creating content, and you cannot differentiate which one is valid and which one is not. So for that, I feel like they should be such like um, channels, media channels, where they prove the fact that okay, there are still like platforms or like resources that create very very high quality content and help people, not just you know creating vlogs or something. Because I mean literally everyone is doing it, so I feel like they should be a difference between professional media and just regular content creators. So I feel like they are a pretty good example of how um, top media quality should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm
I'm
just
just
curious,
curious,
like,
like,
what
what
kind
kind
of
of
media
media
outlets do
outlets
you
do you
usually
usually
follow,
follow,
and
and
which
which
ones
ones
do you
do you
think
think
do
do
good
good
journalism?
journalism?
Because
Because
a lot
a
of
lot
the
of the
things
things
that you
that you
follow right
follow right
now,
now,
you
you
feel
feel
that
that
they're
they're
somehow
somehow
politically
politically
charged,
charged,
they're
they're
biased
biased
towards
towards
certain
certain
groups.
groups.
So
So
where
where
should
should
we
we
get the
get the
news?
news?
Where
Where
is
is
the
the
effective
effective
and the
and the
good
good
quality
quality
journalism
journalism
is?
is?
Yeah. So in my journey of studying journalism here at the University of Minnesota for 3 years almost now, what I learned is you have to have an ability to to know what is actually true or no,
Yeah,
because again, some information was it plural or singular, I don't know, I do not remember. English has left the chat, but anyways, some data are filtered, like they're biased, some are not. So you should have this ability to be like, okay, that's fake. You should be able to recognize it when you read it, or like when you see it somewhere. So I usually follow. I'm interested in what happens in Uzbekistan. Even though I'm here in the US, I do care about what is happening in Uzbekistan and what I am supposed to do with that. How can I take actions based on that? So I usually follow Kunuz and Uz News. Why two sources? Because one is in Russian, another is Uzbek. So I feel like different people create that. So I basically, they give the same information. Believe me, they literally give the same information, but it helps me to filter of how things should work, because you can have you can have an information A, and you can like portray that information in B, C, D ways. So it helps me to analyze things and implement it in my life. So that's what I follow nowadays. But I usually do not um, follow any other, like global news, because there are like lots of things happening all around the world, and I feel like I should be able to um, filter what I should and what I should not consume. So I feel like what I care about is Uzbekistan, not what happens in some corners of some countries. So that's how I filter things. But if it's like a major thing, those media outlets that I shared earlier, they also talk about global news. So that's how I access the news nowadays. But again, you can access the news literally everywhere on platform that are like official and non-official sources that share news. But again, you should have that ability to fact check it yourself, to filter it yourself, because it's fast-paced world, and literally everyone is creating things, and it is up to you to filter it or not.
All right.
All right.
Uh, let's
Let's
try
try
one
one
thing.
thing. Okay.
When I
When I
turn
turn
on my
on my
microphone,
microphone,
can you
can you
try
try
muting?
muting?
I
Yeah. I
think
think
that
that
will
will
solve the
solve the
problem.
problem.
Uh, yes. So, guys, yes, they don't have the. I don't think you have an echo, right? Let me know in the chat if you don't have an echo. If my voice is clear and fine, please let me know. It should be fine now. It should be fine. It's gotta be fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't hear my echo. So, let me get on to my next question now. And we have a lot of good questions in the chat, actually. So, I'm gonna give you two questions at once. So, the first question is, are you guys planning to have an Uzbek Students Association at your university? And the second thing from the same person, Akbar, is, what is one thing you hate about Minnesota?
So turn off your microphone now. It's my turn. So, um, we had a club, not like a club, but like group in housing and residential life area called Uzbek students. It was just for fun for us. We just ordered Uzbek food and we ate and we chatted, all of it, but it was not something official. But yes, we want to have an Uzbek students association, but it's not going to be solely Uzbek students. It's going to be Central Asian slash Uzbek, because we Uzbeks want to rule that, and it's we want to leave it like a legacy after we graduate as well, because we have pretty good people from all around Central Asia too, and we are pretty good friends with them, personally myself too. So we see the picture as not only as Uzbek students but Central Asian, but mostly we, like us Uzbek students, will be regulating all. And after that, when we graduate, they can decide who's going to continue. Maybe we can have the board members from different countries like Kyrgyzstan, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and so on. So yes, we see the future. Yes, we will do it, and I'm very excited about it. I feel like it's going to happen in a month or two. So make sure that you follow me on Instagram so that you can know what's happening, you can know the updates. And one thing that I hate about Minnesota, winter. It's not just winter, okay? It's when I say winter, do not think about December, think about mid-October. That's when winter comes to Minnesota, and that's what I hate about it. So from mid-October to late April. Can you imagine having winter for what, 8 or 9 months? No, it's not 9 months, maybe 6 months. I don't know. I can't calculate. But still, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time for me not to have sunshine, not to have fun outside, or like not to be able to wear things comfortably. So personally, I love sunshine. I love summer, and I'm very sad that summer has ended. But it is what it is. Why I'm still here at at the University of Minnesota? Because the college is good. I am satisfied with the education that I'm getting, and the weather is not the main priority. So that's why I am I'm grateful for what I have.
All right. So if you can mute yourself.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you. All right, amazing. Yeah. I don't know, like this usually doesn't happen, but we've got a problem, so we need to find a solution. Yes, I think Akbar got his question, and I'm sure he's going to be following you very carefully from now on so that he can visit your club when you will open a chapter. And regarding the problem you said, I actually have the quite opposite one. It's summer all year round in Doha, so it's kind of the same thing, but not exactly. So yeah, and I have another question that I'm really interested is like because a lot of the journalists and content creators I know and I follow, sometimes you see that their personal biases and their personal opinion is reflected on the content they're making, and you usually immediately recognize it because, for instance, if you're watching Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson, that you know already what kind of framework they're looking at, and when they're talking about news or discussing politics, they have their opinion already set, and you wouldn't say that's very objective. So how do you yourself as a journalist uh, keep your personal prejudices and biases from your own content? I mean, it's of course if it's your personal page, then you do what you do and you talk about things that you're passionate about and you don't hold off your personal beliefs. But when you're writing a piece for a newspaper or in your future if you're doing something for an outlet, how do you keep your own biases and stay objective on the matter at hand?
that's actually a very good question. So, um, as you said, yes, if it is social media platforms that I own, then yes, it is up to me what to share, what not to share, because I can be like, okay, Uzbekistan is a great place to live, but not to study. Or like, oh, the US is a great place to study, but not to live. I think that way. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm not gonna give it to my audience because I have a lot of people with different backgrounds, and I can affect them mentally in different ways that I do not want to do. So as a community advisor, I am not allowed to, give biased response. Why? I'm giving this example because of it kind of is related to what we're talking about. Because a resident, like whenever I give certain type of advice, biased advice, and that person is affected in some ways, it's gonna be bad on me. I know the consequences. I can get fired. I know what can happen. So that's why I stay objective. And the same when you're a journalist, being objective in journalism is one of literally one of the most important things that you can do as a journalist. So if you do not follow that rule, if you are subjective at some point, first of all, the your manager is gonna fire you or do something because you can't do it, and you should know that you can't do it. It's like a very big thing. So you gotta understand that perfectly yourself. And second, you have to differentiate which platform you're talking about. So I can like be like, okay, US is a great place to study, like mention it in a little bit of way, but not like in a comparison like this that results in big controversies. Because I have incredible friends from US, and I love my country, so I can't be choosing one or the other one. Because if I if I think that Uzbekistan is a great place, then what am I doing here? So I try to regulate my feelings, my opinions in certain ways, because I know that many people are following me, and I feel like it all comes by experience. When you just share something, and when people are like, "Okay, Nigina, this was wrong," or like, "Next time, be careful." It all comes with experience. Once I shared something that was a little bit inappropriate, and a friend of mine from one of my classes was like, "Nigina, next time, be careful. Check the information that you're sharing because a lot of people are watching you." And I didn't get mad because he's right. He was right. So that's why it is okay to make mistakes, but know that it should not be major mistake, You should use your mind a little bit while making decision on something. So
Yeah. Uh, Thank you. All right, great. So, next question is personally very interesting to me as well. I've mentioned that I did used to have a YouTube channel when I was in high school, and even in high school, I had the problem of balancing my YouTube channel, my extracurricular activities, and my studies. And how do you manage you yourself? You have a YouTube channel, you have an Instagram, you have a Telegram blog, and they're all very active. You study full time, you've got an internship and work. How do you manage all this? I know you mentioned that it's pretty hard, but like, what are some tips or strategies that you use to manage all the things, especially for a creator? Because a lot of creators are just full-time creators. All they do is make a video, edit, and upload. But you are here managing both your studies and work and internship and your social media. How does it work for you? How do you make it work?
Yeah, thank you for a great question. I believe that you will always have a lot of things. You will always have a lot of people, a lot of tasks to do, a lot of ideas to work on, or a lot of places to visit. We always have great, like, huge amount of options in our lives. Oops. Oh my god. Can you hear me well? I just got a call. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So let me mute it. So you will always have a bunch of options in your life, but if you do not know like when to filter, how to filter things, that's when you fail. Because believe me, a lot of people text me like in subjects like helping people, or like, with the application to college, or like dealing with college and blah blah. But what I do is, whenever I go to Telegram, I go to my mom's, my dad's, my siblings, and my close people's chat. I, even before opening my eyes, I send a video message to my mom and say that I just woke up, I am alive, do not worry about me, I'm good. I believe that the way you filter things affect the rest of your life as well, because they are very close people to me. Yes, I care about them, but it doesn't mean that I don't care about the rest of the people who texted me about major issues, because I was also at their place. I was in need of help. Yes, I helped them, but whenever I get the chance, like in during the day when I have like 30 or 40 minutes to spare, and that at that time I text them. So life is all about like this. When you have a lot of options, when you have a lot of tasks to do, you should know which one affects you the most. Why I make that reel that takes an hour of my time, because I know that if it reaches millions, a lot of people can follow me, and then I can, you know and I can grow big basically on Instagram. So, and why I'm not creating that much of content on Telegram, because I know that I do not like the way the platform works, the algorithm. I don't know whether they have algorithm or no, but I do not see the future as a content creator on Telegram. Yes, I can share my ideas, but it's not gonna be on purpose of helping people when I have better platforms like Instagram or YouTube. So that's how I filter things. That's why I'm not creating on Telegram. So make sure that you prioritize and do not feel guilty of the decisions you make. For example, a lot of people, whenever I go back to Uzbekistan, a lot of people text me, "Oh, Nigina, can we meet?" Yes, we can meet, but I don't have enough time. When I am here for only 2 months, my family expects me to be with them. And obviously, I want that too. So I filter at that time. I tell people that I can't, or I just ignore them in a way that they know that I don't want to meet them because I have a lot going on. So I feel like that rule applies to every single thing in my life. And I say no sometimes, and I don't feel guilty about it, because if I'm doing the thing that is the most important to me, that's when I reach the result that I want.
All right.
That was good, right? That was inspiring. I don't know how I talk, but I love the way I talk.
No, I'm
You're motivated. You're inspired, right?
yeah. You can mute yourself.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, obviously. I think someone asked for motivation. I think there was a chat, there was a comment, give us some motivation. So I think that's your motivation. That's your uh, 9 p.m. motivation. Enjoy it. Also, I'm sure that you certainly had certain sacrifices for all the things you've achieved. And if you're comfortable sharing them, what were some of the things that you had to give up on to balance your studies and work and social media life? Or you don't have to sacrifice, or you've managed to have a system where you don't have to make sacrifices?
If I had to rate your questions on a scale from 1 to 10, this is going to be 11.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give it a number.
Thank you. And mute yourself, please, so that I can talk. Yeah, that was a joke. Um, that is absolutely great question. I do not sacrifice things. I do sacrifice things when it's about my or my close people's health. There were certain cases when I did not feel good or when I ended up in a hospital, so I canceled literally everything so that I can get better, basically. And the same happened when my dad was at operation, or like my close family members. So if it's about someone I care's health, I cancel everything. I sacrifice everything, no matter what. But there was one time. It is actually a very like deep topic for me to talk, because it's like one of the dark holes in my the biggest dark holes in my life. I don't know whether I should refer to it as a dark hole or no, but whenever I think of it, it just gives me a little bit of pain in my heart. So last year, um, in before winter break, I had an option to go home or to stay, obviously, as majority of students have. Um, but I was like, okay, let's stay. Let's be in the U.S. Let's not spend that big amount of money for tickets. And but I had a gut feeling that my grandma wouldn't last until that time, because she was feeling sick and she was going to hospitals like multiple times a month. And I had a feeling that she might die one day, but I couldn't sacrifice my studies, my job for that. I can't say that I regret it, but it's just sometimes, I feel like maybe I could have seen her. So I had finals, like literally all of my finals, and I had my job, which is based in 1 year contract, and I couldn't leave until certain date. So even when I said that, oh, I sacrifice everything when it's about my close people health, but at one time I could not. I was in a position that either I go and everything gets screwed here and it affects my future, or just not see my grandma. So, but at that time it was not like she's gonna die. I had a feeling that she might die. So I didn't know that she's gonna die 100%. Well, who knows that someone is gonna die for 100%. So I ended up not going, and uh, it is what it is. Why is it a little bit difficult for me to talk about? Because I lost another grandma of mine before winning Ilyurt. So it, like, being like the whole grandma topic is a little bit challenging for me. But I try to stay strong. Now I'm holding my tears, but again, we're humans, we have emotions. I'm just girl. I have a right to cry. I have a right to be sad, but the most important thing is getting out of it as soon as possible. So yeah.
All right. Obviously, thank you very much for sharing that. And I know I can feel that it's very intimate and it's very serious to you. And that's something I think it's all students who study abroad feel like, because uh, it's not even like, even if it's not that serious, even if like your parent gets sick, your sibling gets sick, or a close family member gets sick, you know that. And sometimes they don't tell you. That's the thing. Sometimes they don't tell you because you're studying abroad and you don't want to stress you out. So it's, you're always thinking whether they're fine, whether they are doing well. And there is not really a way to know that unless they tell you. And you can't always go visit them, especially if you're in US. I mean, I'm in Doha. Doha is not that far from Uzbekistan. I can go there in like 3 4 hours. But uh, for you guys who are on the other side of the Atlantic, it's even harder, and there is a time zone difference which just makes like keeping communication with your family members even harder. And yeah, I think that these are the things that a lot of people overlook when they start thinking about going abroad, studying there. They all think that I'm just going to go to US, it's going to be fun, I'm going to go to the States, I'm going to take awesome Instagram pictures and I'm going to post them on my social media, and people are going to think that I'm successful. But there's a lot of things that I think international students sacrifice to do what they do. And it's something that I think that if any other applicants who are aspiring to study abroad are watching this podcast, I would say that that's one thing that you should always keep in mind, that there will be sacrifices, and some of the sacrifices can come in a way that will really affect you, like they did to you. So thank you very much for sharing that. I know it is sad, but uh, let's try to turn the conversation into a positive side. Tell me one thing that you would say this is literally something that will happen only in Minnesota, like the most Minnesota thing that you've experienced. If there is one, if there is one.
There are multiple, first of all, because Minnesota is an absolutely great state. Um, so we have annual event called Minnesota State Fair, which is like basically our parks. Like we have like different parks. I do not know those parks specifically in Tashkent City because I go there what, like 4 times a year. I don't know. So, but in Navoy, we have like parks. Like in 1st of June or like 1st of September, everything gets crowded. You have like lots of roller coasters going on, and then like lots of shows going on. We have such park that happens for like 10 days, I believe, annually, and it is called Minnesota State Fair, where they make food that can be found only in the state of Minnesota. So everyone, literally everyone from Minnesota, the whole state comes to St. Paul to try the food, to be on roller coasters, to be part of those shows. And I got to visit it in my third year. Imagine, I've been living here for 3 years, and I just visited this place. It was an absolutely great place. I loved it a lot. But what are the downside? What are the disadvantages? Is that you can smell weed everywhere, um, which is not like pleasant at all. It's just, it gives you the vibes of downtown because it's crowded. People smoke, people do stuff because it's US. Things are allowed, blah blah. But in general, that Minnesota State Fair is a thing that can be found only in Minnesota, and only in 10 days in a year. So I feel like those who come to Minnesota, please come late August and come to this event because it's going to be worth coming.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I'll try to, if I'll ever, when I visit Minnesota, I'll try to make sure my visit is in those times, and that I actually attend the event that you have just mentioned. And I think we're mostly done with the questions in the group chat. So I think, and it's already quite the time for our conversation to end. It has been a pleasure. It has been my utmost pleasure hosting you and having you on Unicraft Spotlight. I hope to see more of your articles on our website, and to see you more to see you being more active in our community. We're also running Unicraft Circle. Not sure if you know, we send video messages, so feel free to do that as well. We'd love to see more of videos and things that are related to your university, and the things that you're doing. And I think you're doing incredible things, and I think that people should learn more and see more of that. So thank you very much once again for joining us. It has been a pleasure, my pleasure, all of Unicraft team's pleasure. for hosting you, and everyone who has watched our stream. Thank you very much as well. We're looking forward to seeing you again in the next episodes of Unicraft Spotlight. And if you have any final words, I'll just let myself.
First of all, thank you. I had an incredible time. I didn't even realize how time flies. It has been an hour. But it was, again, I love sharing. If I can help people, I'm happy. If you guys are happy, then I'm happy. That's what I say all the time. So as I said, I believe in the future of Unicraft. So keep going. You guys are doing well, and let me know what I can do to support you guys. I know that I haven't basically done anything in Unicraft, but I would really love to be active. So just update me if something new happens. If you want an ad on my channel, maybe I can do it for sure. So yeah, and once again, thank you for having me. I hope many people enjoyed it because I did, and hope to see more from Unicraft team.
Uh, Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. And this marks the end of our today's episode. Thank you very much for everyone joining us. And I'll see you in the next episodes.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.